Okay, in this video we're going to look at indices and fractional indices. So for instance, if you had 25 to the power of a half, or 8 to the power of a third. We'll also in this video look at stuff like 8 to the power of 2/3. If the power that you're looking at has got a negative sign, watch my video on negative indices or negative power indices. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So we've got 25 to the power of a half, 8 to the power of a third, and 16 to the power of a quarter. Now, the rule for fractional indices is the following. If you've got a to the power of 1 over n, what you do is you take the nth root of a. So if it was, for instance, a to the half, you can take the square root of a. If it was a to the third, so 1 over 3, you would take the cube root of a. If it was a to the quarter, you're going to take the fourth root of a. So let's have a look at that. So we've got 25 to the half. That means we're going to take the square root of 25. Notice you don't write the 2, okay, the square root sign, and you know automatically you're taking the square root of it, okay? And the square root of 25 is 5. So if you had 9 to the half, it would be 3. If you had 100 to the half, it's going to be 10. So if the power of a half means square root, and whenever you do lots of indices questions, you'll get used to that, okay? If you ever have something to the power of a half, you square root it. Now, let's have a look at a third. So you've got 8 to the power of a third. So that means you're going to take the cube root. So you're going to take the cube root of 8. So since 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, the cube root of 8 is 2. So if you've ever got anything to the power of a third, you cube root it. So if you had 125 to the power of a third, the answer would be 5, because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. If you had 27 to the power of a third, you take the cube root of 27 and you get 3. So to the power of a third means you take the cube root. 16 to the quarter. So since you've got a 4 on the denominator of the power and you've got a 1 on the top, you're going to take the fourth root of 16. So the fourth root of 16, well, since 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, the answer is 2. So if, for instance, you had if you had 81 to the quarter, that would be 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. So if you go to the power of a quarter, you take the fourth root. Okay, let's look at now some indices that have got a value other than 1 on the numerator. So for instance, stuff like 25 to the 3 halves, 8 to the power of 2/3, 16 to the power of 3/4. So the rule is the following. It's if you've got a to the power of m over n. As before, you're going to take the nth root, so you take the nth root of a, but then since you've got the m, you're going to then do that to the power of m. Okay, so if you've got a to the power of m over n, you do the nth root of a, and then you then do that to the power of m. It's easier actually if you consider the values that we're going to be looking at. So, for instance here, what we're going to do is we're going to square root it, because we've got a 2 in the denominator. You get that answer, and then you cube it. So for instance, you're going to take the square root of 25, and then you're going to cube it. So the square root of 25 is 5, and then you're going to cube that. And 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So 25 to the power of 3 halves would be 125. Let's look at 8 to the power of 2/3. So we're going to take the cube root, and then we're going to square it. So you're going to take the cube root of 8, and then you'll square that. Well, the cube root of 8 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So you're going to do 2 squared, and 2 squared is 4. So 8 to the power of 2/3 is 4. Let's look at 16 to the power of 3/4. So you're going to take the fourth root of 16, so the fourth root of 16, and then you're going to cube that. Well, the fourth root of 16, well, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, so that's 2, and then you're going to cube that, and 2 cubed is 8. So if you've got a power of m over n, you take the nth root, and then you do that to the power of m. So let's just have a look at one more example. If you had 1,000 to the power of 2/3, you're going to take the cube root of that, so the cube root of 1,000, and then you're going to square that. A cube root of 1,000 is 10, and then you square that, and 10 squared is 100.